we in here. We back. We back. Yeah. I don't have the official shirt on because I'm anticipating on this particular video I might get hit. I might get hit. So I want to make sure I got on the appropriate football attire just in case somebody come out here and try and sack your boy. Yeah, so before we begin, like, share, subscribe. Y'all already see the video. Y'all see the title. Should be juicy. Because it's getting a lot of play. And just the topic has been getting a lot of play in general. Like, good God Almighty Jesus. Changing the character's sexual orientation. Yeah, we here. And I know folks be like, Theo, I don't know if you want to do this. I don't know if you, what's going on, Big Ronnie? I know folks be like, Theo, I don't know if you want to have this conversation. I do. I do want to have a conversation. I do. And low key, I feel like I'm probably the best person qualified to have this damn conversation. I am, because I didn't hear it and read what everybody else be saying. I'm like, God damn. Make sure before we begin, like, share, subscribe, and everything. But we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna tear off into this thing. So I'm a superhero comic book fan. I'm a comic book fan. I keep saying I'm a comic book fan. I'm a comic book fan. And as an African American male, that's what I identify as. I know some people have had a tendency in their life to look at me a certain type of way. So because I know people have had a tendency to look at me and mine a certain type of way, I watch how I look at other people. I do. I don't want to be no hypocrite. So it is with that in mind that we start this tonight's episode off with one Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Justice Society, Earth 2. Technically, it should be Earth 1, but Earth 2. I've been reading Alan Scott, the Green Lantern whose weakness is wood. Shout out to my brother D-Real who talked about that on his video last week. I've been reading about this dude since the damn 70s. I don't even want to talk about how long other folks, just so we know, Alan Scott was created in 1940. The Rock With Me Nation moderators in the building. Once, twice, 3 times alive. And I know it, but 1940. I was born in 68. He was around 28 years before your boy was thought about. He was. And even when I came on the scene, you know what? He was a heterosexual male. And shout out to Cornelius. Alan Scott, created by Martin Nodell and Bill Finger. That's who created him in 1940. Did we ask them, do we even care? Do we even think about how they felt? Because he was created as a whole ass heterosexual character well into my damn 30s, well into my damn 40s. Oh, here come the new 52. Here come the new 52 when I'm in my 40s. Now we want to make him gay. I need a full timeout. We want to make him gay. Why? That was the question that I silently asked, because I knew if I asked that question out loud, I would offend some people. Now, I don't give a damn, because I believe in keeping that same energy. His son was gay. His son's still gay. His son created in 1983. He's still right there. He's still gay. So now we want to take the character, if I understand this correctly, we want to take the character that was created in 1940 and make him gay to appeal to members of the LGBTQ+. Meanwhile, we got a character over here that's a member of the LGBTQ+, a character that's strong as hell, considering what their power set is. They actually control the Shadowlands, and we're not doing anything with that character. You're not gonna tell the LGBT, you know which members of the LGBTQ plus know about Obsidian and are asking DC Comics, scratching their head, trying to figure out why DC Comics want the members of the LGBTQ plus community that are comic book fans. Todd sitting right there. This is when I would have to ask the person that's over DC, hey Jeff Johns, this is when I would have to ask you, what are we doing? We got bad people in every demographic. We got good people in every demographic. Leisha, hold on for a second. Who is it? Who is it? The only people that care about me doing lives is the Rock With Me Nation. The only people that care about me doing lives like I do them, the Black Panther fan group. Nobody cares about that, not even surrounding neighbors. Anyway, back to the show. So, Todd sitting right there. He been sitting right there. He gay. That's a gay man. Ain't nobody doing nothing with him. Why not? Why not? You're messing with Alan Scott because some took the time to make Alan Scott a interesting character, regardless of what his sexuality is. You want to make a gay character be interesting. Okay, well, I'm reading Alpha Flight right now, and North Star is interesting. His husband is actually in the comic books as well. They ain't gender bend nobody. No. Character showed up on the scene, gay. Met his husband, gay. Husband worked into the storyline. It's heterosexual people that like North Star. It is. It's heterosexual people enjoying the marriage between him and his husband. What person made Alan Scott gay and why? That's the question don't nobody want to ask. Why Alan Scott got to be gay? Why Jonathan Kent got to be gay? Why Tim Drake got to be gay? That's no different than me asking why the gay character got to be straight. Why they got to be gay? These are difficult times that we find ourselves in, and I totally get it. I do. Because some of us, y'all see the title of the video, right? I put that there for a reason. Mystique is a shapeshifter. No. Mystique is a shapeshifter. Now let's park that right there. She's a shapeshifter. Mystique is a shape. I'm gonna say it one more time. Mystique is a shapeshifter. Mystique is a shapeshifter. Now we're grown. You grown. I'm grown. We grown. Okay. I'm not knocking nobody. We just grown. You grown. I'm grown. We grown. Okay. Being grown. We grown. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. And we know, those of us that then got older, we know what Friday night, the weekend used to be about, used to be for. We do. Friday night, and it's cuffing season. Let me say that one more time. It's cuffing season. Okay, we see, I might not be the one, because I tell the truth to shame the devil. Okay, here we go. I'm going to talk about me. I think that's the safest thing to do, because I know people like them. I know me as a sexually active individual. Missionary just wasn't it. Like, there were other things besides missionary. And I'm a heterosexual man. I'm a heterosexual male, and I know I done some crazy stuff. Not stuff that would, have people say pause. Not nothing that would have you say pause. No, but I know I didn't done some stuff. And I don't think I'm innocent. Like I don't. So She's a shapeshifter. Stay right there. She's a shapeshifter. So are we thinking, because I ain't never thought this, so we thinking the shapeshifter that's bisexual. Like, let's go ahead. She's a bisexual. Like, this, she didn't been with men and women. Are we really the shapeshifter? Because I saw some of these comments today and I'm like, she's a shapeshifter. Stay right there. She done been with men and women. So you mean to tell me every time she was with a woman, you thought she was a woman? You mean the person that lie before they tell the truth? You thought that person, every time they shapeshifted and laid down with a woman, they took on the form of another woman? You see how hard I went about Alan Scott? I'm gonna go as equally hard over here, because I believe in equal energy. So if you don't know what I'm saying, Alan Scott should not be gay. His son is gay right there. Any gay story, superhero story you want to tell, is right there with Obsidian. Nobody's gonna buy. The same folks that's gonna have an issue, the same folks that have an issue with Alan Scott being gay, they would not have an issue if them storylines were about his son, Todd Rice. But folks gonna take that thing and twist it. Okay, Mystique. Like, I don't know how, I don't know how. She's a shapeshifter. I'm gonna be real nasty, real vulgar, but grown folk gonna understand what I mean when I say this. Y'all tripping because she's his father. It ain't necessarily have to be that she didn't have breasts when she impregnated Irene. She didn't have to look all the way like a dude. She's a shapeshifter. She's a shapeshifter. Now, much like it makes no sense from a storytelling part for Alan Scott to be gay, from that very same storytelling part, nobody believes that Azazel is Kurt's father. Like, that's just for show. No, nobody does. We ain't even seen that. Like, we've gotten more Mystique and Destiny and Kurt interaction since them three have been in the comics than we've gotten any association with Azazel and Kurt. And they never cared for that relationship. And when I say they, I mean Marvel Comics. But you know who they have cared for? Which is why I don't know why folks didn't see that one coming. We read comics. Azazel ain't talking about Kurt like that, and Kurt ain't talking about Azazel like that. That's never been the issue. Never. Watch this. Who's Damien's mother? I'm gonna say, who's Damien's parents? We know it's Talia and Bruce, right? We do. But we don't really talk about Talia like that, and we damn sure don't talk about Ra's al Ghul being his grandfather, right? So if somebody came up today or tomorrow and tried to tell you, force feed you a story where Ra's, and you don't know, and they ain't done no character development, that Ra's al, you're not buying that story. You're not. You read the comic. You know bad writing from good writing. You're not buying that. No different than we sat up here and wasn't nobody buying Jai as being T'Challa's friend. Ain't nobody buying that damn storyline. Ain't the same. The storyline with Jai and T'Challa being close friends, that ain't no different than the damn storyline you trying to give me that either paints Alan Scott as being gay or Mystique not being able to do what she did. Mystique can take on the appearance of a man but can't reproduce like a man. How we finna say that when she's literally changing everything down? Like, she's literally, I get what you're saying, but she's just not shape-shifting on the outside. And I think that's where people lost it. She don't just shape-shift on the outside. No, that's not what that is. If she shape-shifts like Logan, she'll be able to produce bone claws, but she won't be able to produce, because that's a physical feature. That's a physical asset. She ain't shoot. Mystique is rewriting her DNA on a molecular level. And I've never been surprised by that, because she's a shapeshifter. And if she's consciously making a decision to overwrite her DNA, and she's got the ability to do so, she can produce sperm. I don't know. It's a dude that can literally freeze people with his breath. She's a shapeshifter. This, not to be confused with Plastic Man. No, that's not what that is. No. Oh, here we go. I think people would have took it better if she was asexual. Theo, what you mean? I think people would have took it better if she was able to get pregnant on her own, thus she didn't need anybody's assistance. Folks would have probably took that one better, because she, and actually, I don't know why she can't, because she don't need no help. She don't need no help. She can either produce sperm or an egg. She really don't need no help. That's an uncomfortable conversation. I know it is 2023. This is her power set. She's a shapeshifter. And she might be an omega level shapeshifter, but she's a shapeshifter. They retcon who Kurt that. Yeah. They said Mystique is Kurt's daddy. And like I said, when I read it, I was like this. To me, it never made sense that Azazel was his father. And low key, that's the only reason why we got Azazel in X-Men the first class, because they needed to put some shine on his name. No. We didn't heard more about Belasco than Azazel. What lie did I just tell? We didn't heard more about Margali Sardos. I didn't heard more about her than read more about her than I have about Kurt's relationship with Azazel. That's your daddy? He don't act like it. I done seen Trigon, whatever we want to call him, get more upset about how folks treat Raven than I done, and he got more than just one child. He do. Then I done seen Azazel do anything about Kurt. So I just was never feeling that. That never registered with me. But what would register with me is if you did something to Kurt, and I'm just gonna say I've seen it where one of them two ladies get upset if you do something to Kurt. I have. So that story makes way more sense. And I know it's probably freaking some people out. I get it. I understand. I understand. I know how it looks. That story is just way more compelling and makes way more sense when you think about it. Prejudices, biasnesses off to the side. That story make way more sense than you get me to believe that Mystique, because the only thing that fits is Mystique. Azazel don't fit, unless we just gonna say that's the reason why Kurt got a tail. That don't fit. That don't fit. Irene being his mama, Mystique being his daddy, especially when you consider Mystique has always been treating him with rough hands, that makes sense. Yep. Similar to the chain. Yeah, that's what they, and that's why I was like, I don't necessarily be wanting to have conversations like this, do lines like this, but I'm like, hey, she's a shapeshifter. What you think you just think it's cosmetic? You don't think she rewriting her DNA? Like when she shapeshift and she uses somebody's vocal cords, do you think she just imitating them, or did she not just change her vocal cords to sound exactly like that person? Like, what? The only thing she does not have is the person's memories. That's it. That is it. Now, Marvel, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to expound more so on Mystique's shape-shifting abilities. And here's why. Because Azazel was able to teleport, you're saying that when she overwrote her DNA with his DNA, she passed on the genetic code of being able to teleport over to Kurt. That's fine. I don't have no problem with that. The thing is that going forward, when Mystique shapeshifts, aside from it being an ability that's been given to somebody, let me put it like this. She should be able to, when she shapeshifts, any organic, natural abilities that person has, she should be able to duplicate those abilities. With Theo, what do you mean? Don't have her shapeshift into Scott Summers and not be able to use his optic blast, because that's organic. That has nothing to, she shouldn't. Now watch this. She should be able to control it, because our mother mind said Scott Summers know how to control his optic blast right now. The only reason why he uses the visor is for aiming purposes only. That's it. But as far as him being able to control his optic blast, I don't believe he needs your ruby quartz visor anymore to keep the optic blast from hitting people. No, he just needs that to aim it where he wants to. See Marvel Comics. Anyway, stepping in like trooping, spread my, boy, what you know about that? Spread my wings, fly. Man, listen, I ain't gonna do that, but damn, I like the rap. I like the Clark Kent version of Spread My Wings, the rap version better. But damn, you come in, it ain't R. We still trying to get with YouTube to get the R&B music. That retcon is reaching. Loki can shapeshift too, and we saw what happened with Loki. Folks got it. Yeah, Now watch this. Loki shapeshifting is and I'm just asking questions, ain't it? Right or wrong? Is Loki shapeshifting, or has Loki shifted his appearance? And what I mean when I say that is that, did Loki just have it where he looked like the person? He ain't the person. You just have an illusion, if you will. When Loki shapeshift, is it an optical illusion, or has he actually shapeshifted? I think Marvel has been to a degree loosey-goosey with that as well. Marvel Comics being loosey-goosey with that. Figure it out. But Mystique, it ain't never been about an illusion. No, she was actually shape-shifting. So, and I said that to say this. If Loki is shape-shifting, he doing the same thing Mystique doing. Because, like, let's ask ourselves a question. If you could shape-shift, when you shape-shift as a god, if you shape-shift into a woman, what all did you just do? Do you think you just did it on the outside? No, you did not. You did not just do it on the outside. No, you shape-shifted. You changed your physical form to that of a woman. Your physical form, not exterior, not interior. Your entire physical form. No different than if a woman, y'all remember that episode of I forget the episode, but it was the show where my dog would go in the future and everything like that. He do events and have to get them right and everything like that. But remember the episode where he was pregnant? He was cast in the role of a woman. And he was like, where is this coming out? And he was going through contractions and he was looking like, hey, where the baby coming from? I'm like, bro, that's a good question. You gonna have to get a C-section. That was an illusion. I'm glad they did it, fixed it, got him up out of there before the baby was delivered, but we saw that. In the Norse mythology, I think Loki birthed the children. Correct me if I'm wrong. No. I would love to tell you that you was wrong, but shout out to John Solo. I'll be following him on YouTube. That's a great person to follow as far as like Norse mythology, Roman mythology, African mythology. He'll tell you some of the stuff that they got going over there with Disney, like as far as like the messed up origin of Pinocchio, Snow White. Great guy, John Jon Solo, Solo. Great guy to follow and everything like that. Also, how come she hasn't displayed any of the power sets of the folks she mimics? I didn't write her. Great question, because I know exactly what you're alluding to. Because all that means is she's able to just shapeshift. But watch this. So, because that's a great question, I tell them that's a great question. So, if she were to shapeshift into the angel, and I low-key think the first X-Men movie got it right. They just had her with metal claws. No, it should have been with the bone claws. But if she shapeshifts into Angel, Warren Worthington III, is she not flying? Like, if she changes into Hank McCoy, she ain't doing what Hank McCoy do physically? So my comment about the change started that they can mimic anyone, anything, but can't reproduce like that species. Oh, well. I just go along with the whole shape-shifting thing. If I can shapeshift, I can take on any form I want. I'm taking on the attributes or whatever I take on. Like, and this ain't me sitting up here having it's not a pro or con. Yeah, I'm for her being Kurt's father. No, I'm against. That's not what this conversation is about. It's not a for or against. It's just it makes sense. That makes sense. Regardless of how you feel. That makes sense. Like, it's not an illusion. She's changing, she's shape-shifting. It's not an illusion. That's not an illusion. No, she's shifting and she's shifting and shaping and changing some stuff. We got a lot of work to do with this one because this opened a can of it did. It did. And to me, not tell them, it opened up a can of worms for one reason and one reason only. It's that word that starts with an A and ends with an A. Agenda. Because they've been effing stuff up so bad. I don't want to say it's hard to see the forest for the trees, but they've been effing stuff up so bad in the MCU. That stench is going on over the Marvel comics and everything like that. That stench is. That agenda stench, now it's got folks questioning stuff. Now it's got folks looking at stuff that they normally wouldn't have looked at before, feeling like, okay, you trying to push something down my throat. That, as you said, now they just got some more story to tell, but it don't bother me one way or the other. Like, I'm like this. Oh, I started laughing. And I know people like, Theo, you thought that was funny? I started laughing. I did when they said, hey, that's Kurt's father. That's all I could do. Because the Azazel thing never made sense to me. The Azazel thing from a story point, plot trope, because we want to explain why Kurt looked like a demon. That's the thing we have to think about. We want to explain why Kurt looks like a demon. The only thing Mystique being his mother explained was why he was blue. That didn't explain why he had the ears the way that he did or the tail the way that he had it. Well, Marvel got to make it make sense. So they went with Azazel. If you want to know how much Marvel is invested in Azazel, just think about how many times the character then popped up in comics. The comic book company don't even give a damn about that character like that. So I was like, whatever. But when they said this, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Y'all been together since when? Wait. Since you first got into the comics. Like, since y'all first made y'all debut in the comics, y'all been kicking it with each other. Okay. Well, Mystique has always been the more masculine out of the two. Irene has always been the more feminine out of the two. Well, if somebody was going to get pregnant at any point in time, was it going to be Mystique? Regardless of what dude she was smashing. Boycott out TV. Yeah, we back. Mutants like Hope Summers can replicate the power. Yeah, her and Sync. So just from when Mystique looked at Logan and was like, what you doing in the bed? I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Logan, the folks that everybody want to sleep with every female, Logan has slept with Mystique. And she don't want him telling nobody that one. He better not mention that to nobody. She said she'd kill him if he ever mentioned it to anybody. Well, it makes sense. Now, to your point, now tell them what they are going to have to do. But they said the way Professor Xavier did it to save the world, he removed the memories that Kurt was their child. So now when this get back, of course, we don't know how this going to happen now, because Mother Righteous just killed Destiny. So I don't. She been dead before though. She'll come back. To your point, now tell them they gonna have to make it where they got the Rogue, Kurt, Irene, and Mystique. Y'all gonna have to do that, because I can explain, I can tell folk why it makes sense, but I can't explain bad writing. So y'all gonna have to do that one on your own. Logan is nasty, absolutely nasty. We back, yeah. So y'all gonna have to make it do what it do. So y'all, this ain't on me. I didn't write this. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. I didn't write this. Y'all gotta explain it. That said, I gave y'all 2 examples, equal energy. Do I have a problem with Alan Scott being written as a gay character? I do. Especially when you got his son sitting right there. You can do something with his son. You could. Son sitting right there. Do I have a problem with Mystique impregnating Irene? No, I don't. I always took shapeshifting as just that. If she changes the sky, how can she generate optic blasts? The question isn't, to me, the question isn't how can she generate optic blasts? My question would be is if she shapeshifts to Scott, why can't she generate optic blasts? She might not be able to control it because of how long Scott has been using his optic blast. But if the optic blast is via DNA and not mechanically given to her, not something that somebody had to give into her after the fact, watch this. Her being able to shapeshift into Peter Parker, somebody that was given his abilities. I don't necessarily think she should have access to that because he didn't have access to those abilities by birth via his DNA. But a mutant or anybody who has their abilities naturally, i.e. they were born with those abilities, if she shapeshifts into anybody who was born with their abilities, I expect for her to be able to use them abilities. Not as well as the person that was born with them, but to use them, Why not? She's literally copying that. And mind you, I'm only saying this based off of what Marvel wrote. Marvel wrote she's literally copying that person's DNA to the cellular level. Well, if you can shapeshift, mimic a person DNA down to their cellular level, I don't know how you can't do what they're doing. Because I just told you, not I just told you that, but when Marvel tell me that she's copying the person's DNA down to the cellular level, I don't know what, I can't answer the question why she can't use their power set. I can't answer that question because it doesn't make sense from a writing standpoint why she can't. So I don't see how I'm not telling you no? Because they wrote that. They wrote that. They wrote that. So I'm not, if that's what they wrote, that's what they wrote. I know me and you looking at with Theo, we didn't see her do other stuff, but yeah, but go back to it. If she shapeshifts into Warren Worthington, are we really not looking for her to grow wings? She might not be able to use them as well as he does, but if she shapeshifts, I'm not talking about her take on the metal wings, the killer wings. No. I'm talking about the feather wings. If she changes, shapeshifts into Warren Worthington III, that ain't what she doing. If she don't do that, then I'm gonna be like, that's not Mystique. I don't know who that is. And we all would. We all would. I think what it is we're conditioned to see her shapeshift into Hank Fury. Conditioned to see her shapeshift into Nightcrawler. Even be conditioned to see her using a prehensile tail like Nightcrawler. We're conditioned to see her, if she were the shapeshift into Warren Worthington III, grow feathers. You know what we're not? You know what we're not conditioned to do? See her run as fast as Pietro. That's what we're not conditioned to do. And I think that's where the separation is at. Like, wait a minute. We saying a lot. Yes, but we didn't say it. They said it. I'm just doing a video to try and explain it because I know they're not gonna do that. And I'm that's all. And mind you, me and you was like, me and you both. I was like, man, she ain't got no business growing no claws. But you see how easy he cut them claws off though? That should have hurt. Now here's the thing. When he cut the claws off, that should have hurt. Because that was part of her. But because of her power set, I really want to say her healing factor, while it ain't his, it ain't too far off. Her healing factor, it ain't his, as in Logan. It ain't too far off though. And it's because of her ability to shapeshift. So yeah, that was right. She watch this. That's a great question, Kamoyo. I believe she is if she chooses to be. Because as I stated before you got in, if you gonna tell me she can do that, get a woman pregnant, and when she came into the world, she was a female. So there's room for me to believe she ain't gotta be with nobody to get pregnant. Some discourse, I don't want to say argument because that's two people going back and forth, but a discourse could be had. She don't really need anybody to get pregnant. She could get pregnant on her own. You petty. You petty boycott. You petty. You are too. Come on, yo, Mr. Y'all petty. Y'all stop that. So how come Nightcrawler can't shapeshift? He didn't get his mother. He got his mother's skin color. He got his daddy's. Watch this. See, now you finna make me do this. So, cause when she got Irene pregnant and she had rewritten her DNA code, she passed on. She passed on Azazel's DNA code to Irene. So Kurt, now that's not the question you need to be asking me. Don't ask me why Kurt can't shapeshift. That's not the question you need to be asking me. The question you need to be asking me, because he got his skin color from his mama, he got his powers from his daddy. You need to ask me why he can't why he can't see the future. Now that's the question. That's the question that need to be asked. Why he can't see the future? At least why he don't get at least glimpses of the future. The amount of mental dips. See, exactly. Marvel need to cut me a paycheck, because I don't. Y'all got me doing way more explaining than y'all doing in the editorial room. Man, the X-Men getting gross hard past me. Poor Zaza, 18 years, 18. Yeah. So that it ain't do nothing for me either. Now, here's the thing. The Alan Scott, I'm not doing that. Tim Drake is still a heterosexual, as far as I'm concerned. Bobby Drake is still a heterosexual, as far as I'm concerned. Alan Scott is still a heterosexual, as far as I'm concerned. Just like Jean Paul Barbier is still very much a gay man, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not. Obsidian, Todd Rice is still gay. I'm not doing that. Ayo and Anika, they gay. I'm not doing that. They gay. And Okoye is not a member of the Midnight Angel. She not. So I just stay strong right there in my line right there. Mystique ain't for the streets. She is the streets. That joke would have been funny if you'd have said Mystique ain't for the streets. She for the sheets. Isley brother. That would have been. I'm thinking that would have been funny because literally for the sheets. Wiccan and Hulk, right? Wiccan and Hulkling. They gay. You gonna keep that right there. I don't want to read nothing about no straight, no heterosexual Wiccan, no heterosexual Hulkling. That I don't want that. I don't want that. So, and I'm not acknowledging. I would not acknowledge Wiccan being heterosexual. I wouldn't acknowledge Hulkling being heterosexual. No, they gay. So them characters that y'all done flipped and twist and think, no, you want the comic book sales to go back up. Bobby Drake like women. Yep. And since Havoc ain't with Lorna Dane, you can send her right on back on over there, because that's who he was kicking the bobo with back when I was in school. Yeah, I know. Got these new cats coming around. They don't know nothing about that. You can send him right. You can send Lorna Dane right back on over there. You sure can. You sure. Alan Scott. You want to do some LGBTQ stories with Alan Scott? Obsidian sitting right there. Go tell that story. Go build that character up. Alan Scott is a heterosexual male from the Justice Society of America. That's what that is. So, like I said, people can have agendas, and your demographic don't make you exempt from having an agenda. So, and I'm not for that. So, my wife says, does that make Mystique transhuman? I would say so if she, but no, because I was about to say if she could shapeshift into an alien. She probably can shapeshift to an alien, but I'm going to look at the trans side as being something more along medical side, medical definition. So no, I would say no to that. Marvel always been political, but today's politics is less about humanity and more about beliefs. That's because they don't have comic book fans. Now, I do believe Marvel Comics is trying to get the fandom back. I believe Marvel Comics is leaning more into what their fans want. The thing is I did this video just for I could have just touched out of this comic book, this particular topic, because this is a touchy topic. It is. But equal energy, I believe I can talk about things and talk about them with the intellectual fairness that they need. Mystique being a shapeshifter, if you know her from back in the day, you know the relationship between her and Irene back in the day. You read these comics, you've read about Azazel, read comics with Azazel. It ain't like he ain't that many. And you read comics with Nightcrawler, Kurt Wagner. By and large, Mystique saying that's what that was, that didn't catch you by surprise. Like that was my whole thing right there, is that having interacted with these characters as long as I've interacted with them, that did not catch me by surprise. That wasn't an old wow moment for me. That was like, oh, okay. And now that's the thing. If they did that to move the needle, it didn't. If that's what that was done for, to move the needle, for there to be a wow factor, to generate more interest in any of the characters, it didn't. You might have turned some people off, but those were people that didn't really know those characters. The folks that really know them characters, been rocking with them characters, you did not move the needle. You're right, Boycott. That's right on the money. And my thing is, these are comics tell a compelling story. Don't just make a change for the sake of it. Absolutely. 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 So, which fans asked for this? I'm not necessarily thinking fans asked for it as much as it was in this day and age. And let me say this. There are things that comic books are doing now that they weren't able to do back in the day. For instance, we know going back to Don McGregor's run that Taku and Venom were gay. We did. Well, he wasn't, Don McGregor wasn't able to articulate that till later on. Now, was there a political agenda? Don McGregor wanted to show that a black man and a black person and a white person can be in love and there not be any issues. Some could say that. He was not able to articulate that then. No, he just had to portray them as friends. Taku coming down there to chop up the Bobo with Venom. Taku convincing Venom, hey, you ain't got to be a bad guy. And that's how he had to write that story back then, during that time frame. It's not that time frame anymore. Well, I'm a proud heterosexual male. I identify as a heterosexual male. I love the cookie. I love the cookie. But what somebody else does don't influence me one way or the other. I'm a comic book fan. Okay, well, you got this shapeshifter right here. Now, when it comes to shapeshifters, I got Doorman. I got Doorman. I got Mr. Fantastic. I got the Elongated Man. I got Plastic Man. I got some folks that can do some stuff. Okay, well, I got Mystique. Now, Mystique ain't to be confused with the Chameleon. The Chameleon, those are illusions. Mysterio, those are illusions. No, this person over here is actually shapeshifting. Okay. So you can turn into a man or a woman. Turn into a boy or a girl. Old or young. Okay. I was just never of the mindset that she was just doing that outwardly. That never came to my mind that she was only doing this outwardly. No, because she was having to pass, I don't know how many tests, authenticate being the actual person. Well, the only way you can go through x-rays and all kind of other stuff saying that you that person, you that person. What did we think when we saw her in the X-Men movie when she became the security guard that gave Magneto his meal? That was a heavyset dude. So what was I thinking? The heavyset dude didn't have a penis? I didn't think that. I'm just gonna go. I always thought when she shapeshifted into a dude, she was working with the same thing a dude was working with. No different that if she shapeshifted into a female, that had a bigger chest, she would have her bigger chest. If she shifted into a female that had her bigger butt, she would have her bigger butt. I just was always thinking, my mindset, she was literally having everything the other person had, from the rooter to the tutor. That last part you just said right there, hiring too many cats on social media without real comic knowledge, fandom. That part. That's crazy, right? A Superboy pitch wasn't exclusive to that writer. It's a trend these last. Yep. So, but shout out to Critical Thinking. That Superman comic book with Jonathan ain't doing that well. It ain't. And that's why I be telling people, be careful about pushing agendas. Be careful about who you selling your comic book to, because demographics don't read comics. Comic book fans read comics. Add black, we want representation, but still are okay with white characters. I bet a bunch of LGBTQ comic fans are just fine with straight characters too, because they comic book fans. That is it, and that's the thing where we get division. The comic book fan ain't divided. It's these other subgroups out here, and so you feel like, to your point, Mr. Martin, you got to capitulate to them. They don't give two damns. They don't. I see this me. I know for a fact. Let me not say it. I don't want to say that. I know, based on what the other people be talking about and the pictures they be showing, I know I got way more female figures than the feminists that claim to represent feminism. I got more female action. I got more LGBTQ characters than folks that be on social media talking about that character need to be sweet. You don't know, you don't care. Low key, I'm of the mindset you really don't love yourself, because if you did, you wouldn't have no problem being able to see yourself in a comic book. No, you want to see somebody else as you. That's an identity issue. That's an identity. I don't want to see a black Clark Kent. I don't need to see me as Clark Kent, Kal-El, to see value in me. I don't. I can look at Icon and see value in me. I can look at, watch this. I can low-key look at Rocket. It's a black character, but my daughters can look at Rocket too. That's a black female. I can look at Hardware. I don't really want to ever. I don't. I like me all day. I like me all day. So if character has a pre-established fan base, it makes logical sense to write stories for that fan base, not for themselves. The soap opera genre had gay fans for decades, and that genre was late in the game with LGBTQ representation. Facts. Like I said, me for mine, North Star, and I promise you, if I don't do it, January, I'm gonna holler at my wife. For my birthday, I just want the Alpha Flight box set. I just want the Alpha Flight box set. I do. I'm gonna sit all them characters right here on the back wall with my Alpha Flight comic book collection. Yep. I just want the Alpha Flight box set. That's all I want. That's all I want. And watch this. Y'all be like, Theo, I want the Alpha Flight box set. And at the very least, the opportunity to see Alpha Flight hit the big screen and do for us, and when I say us, people, do for people what Eternals was supposed to do. And won't nobody have to change nothing. I'm off the Black Rogue train now. I'm sorry. I like Kiki Palmer. Did not want to see her as Rogue at all. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that, because I know they're not going to do nothing with that in the comic book. She not finna be black in the comic books. Rogue been around since I was a damn kid. They ain't finna all of a sudden make her black. No, that's empty, meaningless representation. No, let me get you over here as this sister. Well, I mean, it's some sisters she could be. Let me get that right there. And that's how we grow our characters, and that's how we get that true representation. But listen, it is Friday. Yeah, it is Friday. Thank y'all so much, man. Y'all could have been anywhere else. It's Friday. I don't want to hold y'all up because it's Friday. Some of us just got paid, right? Go enjoy your weekend. Hopefully your team wins tomorrow, unless your team is the Alabama Crimson Tide. Go Georgia. I will be coming back to y'all with some comic book content and everything like that. In the meantime, in between time, click, like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna get with these notes. We got that. And I said, because I like what the dude said. Like, I had no idea I would ever be repeating what he said. But to the late great Don Cornelius, we wish you love, peace, and soul. Peace.